The Special Investigating Unit, SIU, secured a preservation order from the Special Tribunal ordering the preservation of 2 multimillion-rand properties linked to former Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, PRASA, Group Chief Executive Officer, GCO, MR, Cheapo Lucky Montana. The order prohibits Montana from selling, transferring, leasing, encumbering, or otherwise dealing with the properties pending the final determination of SIU civil proceedings. The preserved assets comprise a Hullingham, Johannesburg property purchased at 13.5 million rand and a Waterkloof, Pretoria property purchased at 2.25 million rand. The tribunal further directed the Registrar of Deeds to endorse the title deeds with caveats to prevent any unauthorized transactions involving the properties. The preservation order follows an SIU investigation which uncovered a direct and uninterrupted money trail linking the acquisition of both properties. The proceeds allegedly derived from association with PRASA's 5.6 billion rand Integrated Security Access Management System, ISAMS, contract awarded to Syngenta Technologies, Proprietary, Limited, a subsidiary of TMM Holdings. Striking against corruption, this contract involved the installation, supply, and maintenance of ISAMs at various train stations, part of a pilot project aimed at upgrading specific stations for the 2010 FIFA World Cup to reduce fare evasion and to cater for the anticipated volumes of commuters during the tournament. The equipment included public address systems, access gates, and electronic display boards to enhance the safety, accessibility, and efficiency of the public rail commuter system, which PRASA is legally obligated to provide and maintain, protecting the public interests and assets through prevention measures and systemic investigations to eradicate fraud, maladministration, and corruption. Due to budget constraints, not all stations were upgraded. However, a decision was made to proceed with the pilot project to extend to other remaining World Cup 2010 stations, with Syngenta as the contractor. On April 1, 2011, PRASA awarded the first ISAMS contract to Syngenta, amounting to 1,959,642,352.99 for Phase 1. For contracts, including extensions, were concluded between PRASA and Syngenta over the years regarding the ISAMs. By April 2016, the total value of Syngenta's ISAMS contracts had reached 5,632,604,592.36. The SIU's investigation found that Montana's legitimate income could not account for the purchase of either property now subjected to a preservation order. Instead, bank records showed that the funds were directly connected to payments made by companies within the TMM Group and Precise Trade and Invest02 Proprietary Limited. The director of Precise Trade and Invest was also the lawyer representing the TMM Group of companies. Waterkloof Property, the SIU investigation found that Precise Trade and Invest bank records show that on June 18, 2014, the company received 2 payments, including 1.850 million rand from ESS Proprietary Ltd, which is part of the TMM Group of companies, and 4 million rand from TMM Holdings. Precise Trade and Invest then transferred 2.25 million rand to a Waterkloof Property Transfer and Attorneys. The Waterkloof property was subsequently purchased and transferred into Montana's name in 2014 to Hullingham Property. The SIU investigation also established that the Hullingham property was acquired through a series of linked transactions involving Precise Trade and Invest Midtown Brace Proprietary Ltd, a company incorporated in Botswana, and TMM Holdings. Evidence shows that on March 23, 2015, Precise Trade and Invest transferred 2 million rand to the Transfer and Attorneys Trust account. On April 23, 2015, Syngenta transferred 13 million rand to TMM Holdings after receiving substantial contract payments from PRASA. On the same day, TMM Holdings transferred 12 million rand to Midtown Brace, whose account previously reflected a zero balance, and protecting the public interest and assets through prevention measures and systemic investigations to eradicate fraud, maladministration, and corruption. Midtown Brace then transferred 11.5 million rand to the Transfer and Attorneys, enabling the purchase of the Hullingham property, which was registered in Montana's name in July 2015 for 13.5 million rand. The house that was on the property was demolished by Montana, The tribunal has since directed the respondents to appear on August 11, 2026 to show why the interim preservation order should not be made final. The tribunal also ordered that the main proceedings against Montana must be instituted within 30 days of the order. The SIU's investigating process in terms of proclamation are Point 153 of 2024, which authorizes investigations into allegations of maladministration and corruption relating to process affairs between January 1st, 2010 and 16 February 2024. The SIU welcomes the tribunal order and regards the decision as an important step in safeguarding assets pending the finalization of civil recovery proceedings. The unit remains committed to recovering financial losses suffered by the state, holding those responsible accountable, and protecting public resources from corruption. Under the Special Investigating Units and Special Tribunals Act 74 of 1996, the SIU is empowered to institute civil proceedings in a high court or special tribunal to recover financial losses and set aside unlawful contracts and transactions arising from its investigations. Any evidence of criminal conduct uncovered during the investigation is referred to the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, for consideration and further action. This is what Lucky Montana wrote on his X account. The SIU has become desperate. I'm at peace with myself and the world around me. I know myself and the deep roots that define me as an African. Just to separate, at the very outset, fact from fiction, the SIU did not obtain any order to freeze my assets. The legal process is simple. An Oregon state would approach a court to seek a provisional order as part of initiating its legal action. You are not notified or served papers at this stage. In this particular case, the SIU approached the tribunal, which is equivalent to a court, to seek a provisional order pending my filing of a notice to oppose within 10 days. I was served with papers on or about July 9th, 2026, and filed my notice to oppose last Thursday. In terms of the uniform rules of the court, I'm required to file my opposing affidavit within 20 working days from the date of the filing of my notice to oppose, which falls on August 19th, 2026. This is the same process SARS followed to try and sequestration me, so the SIU obtained a provisional order to initiate legal action against me, but has not obtained a preservation order. As the word says provisional. But why rush to proclaim victory at the very start of the process? I suspect the SIU was too excited and unleashed its overzealous propaganda machinery on me, but forgot to first check with its attorneys if I had already filed my notice to oppose their nonsensical application. Even if I had failed to meet the Thursday deadline, I would still have the right to approach the tribunal, seeking condonation. No need to rush to the media to claim a hollow and non-existent victory. What surprises me is the SIU choosing Sunday, a holy day for many Christians in the land, to lie to citizens that it had obtained a preservation order against 2 of my properties. It is a blue lie. It obtained a provisional order to start the legal process. They chose Sunday to tell this lie, hoping this will have the biggest impact and present me as a criminal. Oregon's estate have over the years worked in a coordinated manner to bring me down. I trample on the toes of government ministers and senior ANC leaders when I refuse to give them a share of the $53 billion new train contract, the Jabila contract. They've set the dog law enforcement agencies on me. Every time they tried, they failed. It all stared when the now discredited Paul O'Sullivan laid charges against me at the Brooklyn Police Station in 2016, submitting a 22-page sworn statement full of innuendo but lacking in substance. Then entered Worksmans et al., infiltrated the DPCI through one Ryan Sachs of Howard Forensics to manipulate evidence so as to secure my prosecution on trumped-up charges. All these attempts failed. The work of a living God, the Hawks DPCI, then set up a special team under one Captain Leela to pursue me, interviewed many of my former colleagues, apparently asking them, "Give us something on Lucky Montana." No evidence emerged to nail me. SARS followed, creating a fictional or non-existing tax debt of our $55 million and instituted sequestration proceedings against my estate. I'm used to such abuse of power and systematic onslaught. As recent as June 2026, I got information one Captain Governor from DPCI pressured PRASA to lay a false charge of theft of documents so they could arrest me. The desperation is beyond me, unfortunately for the state. Some of us are wired differently and are not intimidated by nonsense. It is now the turn of the SIU. It chose to revive the very same manufactured lies to pursue me. The SIU will fail. So, I have read this script before, repeated so many times, in many different forms. As part of my piece, I stand still and watch. All I know is these will pass. The SIU and other organs of state continue to dream of the day they will feed on the carcass of Lucky Montana. But this will not happen, not in this lifetime. I wish the SIU all the best in this latest attempt, but they will not get any of my houses. And